things regarding the electric and clarification, since I was the one who spoke on that. Over the 2-year period, last year we had a reduction, and this year we are proposing a reduction as well. It'll be 10.8%. I believe it was 10.8% would be our reduction for residential rates over the last 2 years. So we will continue to work. We have not voted on the second reduction. Last year we had a reduction, but over the 2-year period it'll be 10.8. That was proposed last night for the total over 2 years of 10.8. And with regards to this, a number of people spoke on the height issue. I want to point out that in the Florida statutes last year, one of the benefits of having heights in the charter is that the law was changed last year, and I will read it to you. In Florida statutes 2011, section 163.3167, paragraph 8, an initiative or referendum process in regard to any development order or in regard to any local comprehensive plan amendment or map amendment is prohibited. So what that means is your only ability to make a change is to a charter, because the law, Florida law, will not allow residents to have any sort of petition or referendum on a comp plan. And the commission is in charge of the comp plan. 3 people can vote something up or vote something down. The community is in charge of the charter. So having height limits in your charter is, in my opinion, and based on what the Florida law just changed last year, to your advantage as well. So it is a very important issue, and I am very, had hoped that we would not have had to form a PAC. I mean, I brought this to the commission on June 19th for the commission to actually put together a ballot item to be voted on, and it was voted down. A PAC was formed. I think over 1,300 signatures have been collected to date, and it shows that this is a serious issue that people want to have a voice in. And I hope that we as a commission respect the wording that 1,300 people have said they want to see in November on the ballot. Thank you.
Commissioner Russo?
I'm not going to talk to the heights because we'll come back to that later. The one thing I wanted to address, and it's come up a couple different times, the stop sign. I found, since I've been commissioner, the stop sign in the city with Jamie, I can have it done, no problem. But it's concerning to me that not only people in our community, but also some staff. I've had people come to me this week and said, I wanted to do A, B, and C, and staff said, go to a commission meeting, get up and tell them about it. You don't have to be here unless you want to be here. I know you're a very busy woman, and there's other things you probably need to do tonight other than coming here and talking about a stop sign. You have district commissioners. Your commissioner in that district is Susan Mulvihill. You could please call her and get her that information if she hasn't gotten it tonight. And it's something that can be done very quickly because it is children's safety. And it's concerning to me that the commissioners aren't going above and beyond to get this done in their communities. I know I have. I've never fixed so many potholes in my life, thanks to Jamie. But things like this, you don't need to come to a commission meeting and share with us unless you want to.
Commissioner McBoyd?
Yeah, I had a number of things spoke to me. I've heard from other people as well that they're seeing more trash on the roads. I don't know what the reason for that is. Jamie, do you have any sense? Are we running the street sweepers less often than before?
We're doing the same thing we've done for the past year.
That was kind of my impression. So I guess it's just that we have to all, as Barbara Jean Weber said, we all got to pitch in a little bit and just put less trash out there. So let's do that. And I thought the idea of if we had anti-littering signs before that had, I don't like beating people up with penalties, but maybe it gets people's attention. And let's see if we still have any, put them up. Chip Guthrie spoke to Old Bridge Park, and I have to say I apologize because the same thoughts went through my head yesterday that, yes, I understand that we need a place for employees to park, but I also share the concern that that's a pretty nice location for a number of things. The Green Market for launching, I mean, I understand we have a launch now on the east side, but still, some people will want to launch on the west, or simply for watching sunsets, a lot of things. So I would hope, and I don't know who we direct that to, but that we consider the possibility of not using it exclusively for employee parking, which means we've got to come up with somewhere else, but I think there is an interest in other uses of that park. Stop sign, obviously, whatever it takes to get it done at that one, and I think Jamie's probably all over it. I'm going to take liberties and repeat Mark Perilla's phone number again. I think it's wonderful that he's helping out the couple that lost everything in a fire. His number, if you want to help him out with getting things for that couple, it's 201-2851. It's a great thing. And then finally, obviously a lot of folks have turned out for the Heights, and I think perhaps, I think we're hearing a common theme that we really don't want as a commission to be swimming upstream against a lot of folks in the community. And the details of whether we get to 1,200 signatures by Tuesday or 1,400 signatures by X day, focusing on that, I think, misses the point a little bit. And I think somebody made the point that really it would do a lot for us as a commission and for trying to overcome some of the divisiveness for us as a commission to say, hey, look, I'm hearing a sound out there. I'm hearing it pretty clearly. That there are a lot of folks that are concerned about what the city looks like. I can't tell you how many times I hear, we moved to Lake Worth because it was a cottage-sized place, it was a low-key place, all those things. And I don't think that keeping some of that character means being against economic development. I think it's very possible to do both of those things, and I think we want that. But I think we need to pull together, and as one person with a planning background said, this is a big enough issue that we don't want to leave this stone in our hearts that we push this through a certain way. I think the point has been made very clearly that a lot of thought went into the way the ballot amendment was written. Let's have the courage of our convictions, which our convictions are that we believe in a democratic system. Let's put it on the ballot. If it gets voted up, it's one way. If it gets voted up, down the other way, whatever it is, then we will have listened to our public. We'll be in a much stronger position to make our development regulations, all the pieces come together in a way that we're all behind, that we can put our shoulders behind. And I think that will help us. So I would encourage us to for us to take this, to get out ahead of the pack. Let's not let ourselves be pushed into it by a pack. Let's do it ourselves. Put it on the ballot as it stands and let people vote.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you. Let's start with Mr. Perella, wherever you are. Thank you for bringing that situation to our out in the hallway. If anybody sees him, tell him to see me after the meeting. I'll have a check for him. Mr. Parmji, I never thought about the idea of taking the buy one, get one groceries and passing on. That's a pretty good idea. No, I have to admit, my wife is not listening. I do not do the shopping. But I'm wondering, does Publix have like a box where folks can put that? Opportunity to put food? Maybe that's a suggestion we could give Publix, for the, Publix will get a lot of good positive press out of that. They put up a collection container. So when they have the buy one, get one, that's an outstanding idea. And also finally, the 4th of July was a hoot, an absolute hoot. Finally the city, we finally got a raft in the race. And we were it was a,
No divisiveness. We did fine.
it was
Battle Tower.
first of all, I didn't think the doggone thing was gonna float. And then when
We had our doubts.
I know, when it floated,
The
I
light
got,
was scary.
but when it floated, and then I got on it and it still floated, I was amazed. But we really had a great time, you know, we had an outstanding motor system here, until he was torquing that bike so much he broke the chain. But we had an absolutely outstanding time. Our weapon system was second to none. We had
Next year,
we
we solar
actually-
powered.
We actually, you know, in the spirit of clean competitiveness, saw that we were lagging sorely to the rear, so we had to take out the raft in front of us, so we had to sink them. But it was a good time.
We did it humanely.
It was humane, but that's what pirates do. And, but it was really, really good time, and I thank Mike Bornstein and Jamie and the rest of the staff for putting that together. I thank Commissioner McCoy and everybody that participated. It was an outstanding event. I really enjoyed it. And I just want you all to know, I hope Herman's listening out there, but I challenge the other cities along the coast to have rafts next year. And maybe we could have like 2 heats, 1 heat for all the cities, and 1 heat for ourselves, and then have the winner of the 2 heats, you know, have a race. So it was a really, really good time, and I really enjoyed it, in spite of being sunburned by 11 o'clock in the morning. So, thank you. That's all I have.
Just exactly the same thing with Mark Perla. I guess I'm gonna have to start cooking a lot this weekend. I'll be your caterer for the next week or 2 if I can. And whatever I have in my home, I'll certainly put together. And I encourage everybody to help out that family. Again, we've got so much going on in our city. Let's remember what's really important. Old Bridge Park, Chip, yeah, just remember we talked about it. You know, but I don't want people, a couple things were said about last night's meeting. It's a workshop. We're talking about it, it's a work in progress. And it was just a suggestion brought up, and I think we have to take a look at a lot of things and, you know, run up the flagpole. So we'll get back to that. The stop sign, definitely. In reference to, well, heights and stuff we're gonna get to in a little bit, I just wanna remember that, in reference to what Commissioner McBoy said, a lot of decisions that were made in the past didn't necessarily reflect my views. In fact, in the last 10 years, didn't reflect my views. There's, I think, a very fine point of differentiation between the discussions that we're having. And I think that it's gotten way out of control, my personal opinion. I think that a lot of these decisions could have been met in a different way, and lots more discussion could have happened. But it's an election year, and someone's got to have something to hang their hat on, and I don't like that, because every single time, and I was just recently, I just went through it for the very first time in my life. You know, I've sat here while there were cavers and pavers, and there were, you know, lovers and haters, and every other thing that goes on here. Now it's going to be, they didn't give me a right to vote, or they did give me a right, and they didn't do that. There's always, every time an election comes around, this happens. And quite honestly, it makes me sick to death over it, because it's just absolutely impossible. The city's at a turning point, and when people talk about that tri-board meeting, that tri-board meeting was over LDRs. Let's tell the people exactly what's going on, not put a bunch of boxes on a photograph and tell them that you're putting up 65-foot walls all over the city, because that's not reality. The reality is, we're going to look at it through the LDRs and be smart about it, and more than 90% of what everybody agreed to was agreed upon. The charter is 165. It's been that way forever. Now we're looking at our charter amendment that could cut us off at the knees for certain pocket areas of development that would help the city, such as a hotel. There isn't very much difference between what we're all talking about here, but now it's become an issue. And now this divisiveness is causing pain for a lot of people. And it's making me not able to sleep, and quite honestly sick to death that it has to get to this point, and it's escalated to this point. Shame on both of our sides. We're going to do what we have to do tonight. We've got to prepare our city for the future, because financially we are in trouble. We're among many municipalities that are in trouble, and we have to do so. We have to do so smart. I've been here for over 22 years. I chose the city because it is exactly the way that it is, charming. We're not talking about any huge skyscrapers and high-rises, and I'm insulted by anyone that says I don't want them to vote or I don't want them to do anything. I'm quite honestly insulted. This is about our future and doing it smartly. This is about respecting through those LDRs, homes backing up into businesses and setbacks. Does anyone talk to anybody about the setbacks involved, the compatibility involved? There are so many intricate pieces of this puzzle that nobody's gonna know when you walk around saying that the commission wants to raise heights, as the flyer said in the pack. No, the commission wants to lower the center of town to 45 feet. We could have higher limits, but no. We're all talking about this. We were all on the same page and had very few differences. But by doing this now, it's become a big spectacle. And I'm very disappointed and I'm very concerned because our future depends on the choices that we make now. And you elected me to represent you, and I'm doing it in a smart way because what we've been doing is not working. And it hasn't for an awfully long time. Approval of the minutes, item 8A and B.
Moved.